Hey, what's up, Drivetrain? We're back for another video. This video is an extension of the tool video. So if you watched the last video I did, I'll link it down in the description. I'll also link it up here. That video talked about a few basic tools you can use to get started. Now, today we're talking to the factory dads. You're stepping it up a notch. You are outfitting an entire toolbox so that you can cover anybody's bikes at the track. You're at the races. You're trying to help out everybody. You're the factory dad. That's what we're talking about today. So we're going to get started. We're going to zoom in here. This is, again, that Bauer toolbox that we talked about last time. This is my grab-and-go case. Inside of it, we've got multiple compartments, and we're going to dive in first to the big section back here, where you can see I've removed a compartment. It comes with these two sections or single sections, and what I've done is just set up one big section here, which helps me cover all of the tools. Now, buried in here, we already talked last time about some zip ties, but let's look at the tools that I keep in here. They're all over here. These are the bigger tools. Got a variety of things. We're just gonna run from this side over. We've got our screwdrivers that we talked about last time. We do have a set of pliers or dikes, whatever you want to call them. Now we have these here. These are specific Allen head T style Allen heads. I've got a 6mm, and because I ride some profile stems in our entourage of bikes, I have a 1/4 inch because that's what profile runs. Next, we've got a nice ratchet here. We'll see what that goes for in a little bit, but that makes a big help getting into some tight spaces. Then we've got things for axle nuts. This came with like a tool kit that I bought, but it is kind of helpful if you need to get into some axle nuts. We've got this for bottom brackets. Mostly this one gets used, but if you need it, there it is. This, I'm gonna link this in the description. This is a cable cutter for brake cables. This is well worth the money, a couple bucks on Amazon. Picked that up not too long ago, because if you cut a brake cable with these, it's going to fray. Just take my word. It's going to fray. Go ahead and get you a nice cable cutter for brake cables. We've got the open-ended kind of adjustable wrench here, which is good depending on the bikes that you come across. Also, we've got a crescent type wrench, which sometimes helps us when we're dealing with nuts on the hubs. We've got a nice chain tool. You can buy your chain tool. I've broken so many very lesser ones that I picked that one up recently. Then we come back here. This was also part of a brake tool, bike tool kit, but this has 15, 17, and some other sizes down here, which helps if you're trying to get into small spaces with pedals or on axle nuts. Finally, back here, this is a chain whip, and the chain whip is used when you're trying to get a cog nut off of, or a freewheel off. Then you need this to be able to hold things in place as you spin the nuts. Lastly, we've got chain lube. Always keep chain lube with you. We run the Muck Off dry lube on our bikes. You can get the wet lube. You can get whatever brand you want. Now, I'm going to put all this stuff back in here because I'm going to start to then talk about some of the other tools that are here. All right, so we talked about the big compartment here. Let's talk about the way other things that I've got in here, and then we'll pull out some more tools. I always keep a rag as well as a lint-free rag and some trash bags in here. So that stuff is critical for being at the races. This is typically extra parts. You see I've got some old brake pads, some bar ends. I've got Velcro for racing plates and such. We've got an extra chain. This is my old race chain, and a bunch of cogs in here. So these are profile and Shimano style cogs. Keep those in there. When we come over here, this is more like chain bits. So we've got, oh man, just different types of nuts and washers and bolts. We've got some sprocket bolts in there, various different things in there. Let's talk about the tools in here and the tools that I keep back here next. All right, so this is the smaller compartment. What we've got here, we start out with some tools that are for different types of bottom brackets and potentially cassettes. We've got some spoke tools here. You've got your kind of single-sized park tool. That's the one I mostly use, but this is kind of a multi-different sized one. For other crank arms, you got these things which get threaded into the crank arm, and then you spin this thing in with other stuff. Anyway, that's what those are for. This is a box bottom bracket tool. specifically for the M30 that I'm running on my 20-inch bike right now. Another thing we've got in here that I picked up somewhere along the way for pretty cheap. These are a bunch of wrenches, but they're very thin wrenches. These are used for axle nuts. Again, kind of your older, more basic style wheels, you might need to hold an axle nut while you tighten another one up. That's what those are for. And then this is kind of my favorite tool here. This is my angle finder. It's a digital angle finder. I've talked about when I did a video about bars that I use this angle finder just to be consistent with my bar positioning. And anyway, it was inexpensive. I keep it here because it's just what I use. All right, so that's some of those smaller tools. We've got one last box here that we want to talk about. Now, if we look here, again, there are extra parts, and underneath some of these things, there's extra parts of stem bolts and just random things that I've kind of amassed over the years. But we've got this one last bucket. Let's take a look at this one. That's a lot of tools. But let's take a look at what we've got here. This zip tie. This looks like just a regular zip tie, but this, in fact, is a special tool that we use for setting brake pads. This thing can help you get rid of your squeaky brake syndrome and keep your friends in the bin. All right, we've got a dry erase marker in case you get to the track and you need to run a different number on your plate. You can dry erase it onto the plate. We have various different little bits and pieces. I always keep a 10mm socket and an extension in case I need to get into long places, and the wrench that goes with it. That's a unit. We've also got the open close 10mm. Here's the 15mm that we saw in the first video. We've got another one of these thingies which also has stuff which came in a kit that I had bought. There's another one. Then we get into some of the more common tools. Now, we saw this Allen key in the first video, so this one is the same one, that Pittsburgh one. It goes from really small all the way up to 8mm. That's critical. But now let's talk about some of these other ones. Look at these right here. These go with that big wrench that we saw early on. It's going to fit in here. This gives us 6, 8, and all the way up to 10mm, depending on the bottom bracket that you're running. You may need to go all the way up to 10mm. Now, if we come back down, we got this guy, which is again, I think, is this 10mm? Nope, that's an 8mm, so that can be used on axle bolts. We've got a toothbrush. Keep your toothbrush. No, that's not for my teeth. We keep these around so we can clean little grease and stuff out of little parts on bikes and really get your bike tuned up. So a extra toothbrush, keep them, and then put them in your toolbox. And then when you get another toothbrush, swap it out. Simple, easy process there. Back down here. Yep, there's the old toothbrush that I didn't get rid of yet. I keep a pick tool. We talked about that in that last video as well for just little picky type things. I'm not sure why I have a chisel in here, but I have a chisel in here. Okay, maybe not recommended. We do have some sockets though. This should be a that's a 14mm socket. We've got a 15mm socket. Those are going to be used for axle nuts. Again, if you're kind of zipping through and you just have this open close wrench that's 15mm, it might be nice to toss a socket in there just because it makes it quicker and easier to get off. Also, if you are running a different type of bike that you have pegs on, well, that's why I've got this extension in here. This extension is so that I can put a either 15 or 17mm socket on and get all the way through the peg using the wrench and twist it. And that's why I keep that in there, because again, when I'm out riding, I could be at the skate park, at the dirt trails, at the racetrack. So I've got all kinds of parts. There's one last tool in here. This tool is a very special tool. This one is used on the sprocket bolts. These types of bolts that hold your sprocket nuts on. This has a little hole in the middle and then it sits in the little outside ring. So that's apparently what I used to use this for, was to hold these in place. Then I got the tool. So guess what? I get to lighten the load and not put my chisel back in because we've got the tool. Got a 6mm Allen wrench which helps when your bars are really low. If you're running like cruiser bars and you can't get any of the other tools in there, this one is really compact and can fit in there. And then we have a chain tool. This actually came with my chain breaker, but it's made for pinching and opening up your different master links. So if you've got a master link, you need to squeeze it, you can get that in there, squeeze. I used to use these needle nose pliers to do it, but now I got a real tool. And so I can take care of this, getting that out of there too. All right, so listen, I want to hear from you. What are some tools that maybe I didn't show that you keep in your toolbox? Put those in the comments section down below. I'd love to hear from you. And also, what's the most random tool that you keep in your toolbox? Now listen, you don't need to go out and buy all of these tools right away to get your factory dad card. You can still yell pedal on the sidelines. That's completely fine at really loud volumes. Maybe jump on the bike and take a lap for yourself. That'd be awesome. There's always more room on the racetrack. But look, outfit a toolkit, keep it in your car with you. Be ready to help yourself or anybody else at the racetrack, at the skate park, at the dirt jumps, wherever you are. And most of all, have fun, and that's it. Hey, listen, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We'll catch you guys in that next video. Peace.